What if I told you that the calendar hanging on your wall, the one that runs your entire life, is fundamentally wrong? I'm not talking about a little error here and there. I'm talking about a deliberate 2,700-year-old edit that we've all just accepted. You don't even have to look far to see the bug in the system. It's hiding in plain sight. I mean, think about the names of the months. September comes from the Latin root septum, which means 7, but it's our ninth month. October, from octo, means 8, but it's our 10th. You see the pattern here, right? November means 9, December means 10. Every single one is off by 2. It's like we're looking at the ghosts of an older, forgotten calendar. So yeah, this isn't just some tiny typo. A long, long time ago, somebody decided to just add new months to the beginning of the year and shove all the other ones back. That one change happened almost 3,000 years ago, and we are still living inside that decision. But that's not even the wildest part of this story. The real question, the one that unlocks everything, is what was there before? And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? When you have a system that's so obviously misaligned, but nobody ever questions it, you have to ask why. What did they remove from our original way of telling time? And more importantly, who benefited from us forgetting it? Well, the answer is that what we lost was a system that was way more natural, way more intuitive. For literally millennia, people didn't need a government to tell them what time it was. All they had to do was look up at the sky. They used nature's own timekeeper, the moon. And this all boils down to one simple astronomical fact. There are 13 full moons in a solar year. Not 12, 13. Our entire calendar, this thing that governs global finance and our daily schedules, is built on a number that doesn't actually match the main celestial cycle we can see with our own eyes. And you know what? The math totally backs this up. If you try to build a calendar with 12 lunar cycles, you wind up 11 days short of a full year. It's messy. You have to add days all over the place. But look at the 13-month math. 13 months, each with a perfect 28 days, gets you to 364 days. You're only 1 day short. It's just so much cleaner, so much more consistent. And this is the truly elegant part. What did ancient cultures do with that one leftover day? Did they just awkwardly tack it on to the end of a month like we do? No way. They made it a festival, a day outside of time. It didn't belong to any month or any week. It was a global party to reset everything before the new year. I mean, how perfect is that? And we have actual physical proof for this kind of ancient timekeeping. This right here is the Ishango bone. It was found in Central Africa, and it's about 20,000 years old, making it one of the oldest mathematical objects ever found. And archaeologists are pretty sure that its carved notches line up with 6 months of lunar cycles. Some researchers have even suggested it might have been made by a woman tracking her own biological cycle right alongside the phases of the moon. This wasn't abstract science. It was deeply personal. Time was literally woven into our biology. So for tens of thousands of years, we understood time by just watching the world around us. And then Rome happened. And for the Romans, the calendar wasn't just about tracking seasons for farming. No, it quickly became a tool for controlling people. You can see how messy the Roman calendar was. At first, they had this weird 10-month system with just a big, blank, uncounted winter. Then a king came along and just tacked on January and February at the beginning. But the real problem was that a small group of priests had the power to add or remove days and months whenever they felt like it. This, of course, led to centuries of corruption, and it got so bad that Julius Caesar had to step in and create the system we basically still use today. It wasn't designed to be better, it was just imposed. And the Roman elites understood this quote perfectly. If you were a politician, you could just bribe the priests to add an extra month to your term in office. Or you could have them skip a month to cut a rival's term short. By the time Caesar came around, the official calendar was a full 3 months out of sync with the actual seasons. He called 46 BC the last year of confusion. But let's be real, the confusion wasn't an accident. It was a feature, not a bug, when time itself is a political weapon. Okay, now let's jump forward 2,000 years. The idea of a better 13-month calendar didn't just die with the ancient world. In the 20th century, it was brought back to life, not by some New Age guru, but by one of the most practical people you could possibly imagine, a railway accountant. Right, so this accountant, a guy named Moses Cotsworth, was being driven absolutely nuts by our calendar. And when you think about it, he was right. How can you compare one month's profits to the next when the months aren't even the same length and have a different number of weekends? Think about your own salary. You get paid the same for a 28-day February as you do for a 31-day March. That's a 10% difference in your daily pay that always benefits your employer. Our entire global economy is running on a unit of measurement, the month, that has no fixed size. It's insane. So Cotsworth proposed this beautifully logical solution, a fixed calendar. 13 months, each one has exactly 28 days. Every date would fall on the same day of the week every single year. Imagine that. And this wasn't just a theory he scribbled on a napkin. It was actually put into practice, and it worked for over 60 years. So who would be bold enough to do this, to completely ditch the normal Gregorian calendar and run their entire massive global operation on this newfangled system? Well, the answer is probably not who you think it is. That's right, Kodak, the camera company. From 1928 all the way to 1989, this absolute giant of a corporation ran its entire business on a 13-month calendar. Their financial reports were perfect. Paydays were completely predictable. A Fortune 500 company proved for more than half a century that 13 months just plain works better. So the big question is, if this system was proven to be more logical, more efficient, and it was backed by major industry leaders, why aren't we all using it today? The answer, sadly, is pretty simple. It was deliberately killed off by organized institutional resistance. The idea got so popular that the League of Nations, think of it as the original United Nations, actually reviewed it. They ranked it as the best proposal out of more than 130 options for calendar reform. But religious leaders organized to destroy it. Their main complaint? That one year-day festival, the day that belongs to no week, it would essentially create an 8-day week once a year, and they argued that would disrupt the sacred perpetual 7-day Sabbath cycle. The opposition was intense, and in the end, the proposal failed by a single vote. And this brings us to this really fascinating cultural quirk, triskaidekaphobia. You know, the fear of the number 13. We see it all over the place. Buildings that don't have a 13th floor, airlines that skip row 13. But have you ever stopped to ask where that fear actually came from? Well, here's the truly wild part. The fear of the number 13 is surprisingly new. I mean, it was first documented in writing in 1910. Historians have found pretty much no widespread evidence of this fear in ancient times. So why did this superstition suddenly pop up right around the same time that a 13-month calendar was gaining real global momentum? It's a pretty provocative question. One theory is that you don't just start fearing a number for no reason. You fear it because it represents an idea that someone needed to suppress. And while the rest of the world was being taught to fear the number 13, one country just kind of shrugged, ignored the whole debate, and kept on using the system that had been working for them for centuries. They are the living, breathing proof that 13 months isn't some historical fantasy. It's a practical, modern reality. Right now, today, over 120 million people in Ethiopia are living their lives on a 13-month calendar. It's simple. They have 12 months of 30 days each, plus a 13th mini-month at the end of the year. Their tourism slogan is literally 13 months of sunshine. It's not a gimmick. It's just their calendar, and it works just fine. And this contrast just says everything, doesn't it? To use our calendar, a lot of us had to learn a nursery rhyme as kids. 30 days hath September. I mean, come on, that should tell you everything you need to know. A well-designed system shouldn't require a poem to figure it out. The Ethiopian system, just like the Kodak system, is simple, it's uniform, it's intuitive. No rhyme needed. Look, at the end of the day, our biology hasn't changed. The astronomy definitely hasn't changed. The moon still makes 13 trips around the Earth every single year. That 20,000-year-old Ashango bone sitting in a museum, it still lines up perfectly with the sky above us. The only thing that changed was the calendar that someone else gave us. The sky still counts to 13. The only real question is, why did we stop?